All right, I think we've all had an elementary school teacher that we will never forget. Well, one Indiana man certainly does, to the point that she motivated him to not only write, but get a book published.
With that story and more, we're joined by Lizzie Schiffman-Tofano of DNAinfo Chicago. And this all started, Lizzie, we're told, by a very inspirational note.
That's right. So Jarvis Jones is an alumnus of Barnard Elementary in Beverly. And when he was in elementary school, he had a teacher named Polly Kelly, who he says really inspired him. And when he graduated out of her class, she wrote him a letter saying that, you know, he was a great writer and she really believed in him, and she hoped that someday she would find a book written by him on the shelf of her neighborhood bookstore. And that prediction came true. Jarvis Jones published a book earlier this year, and he made a stop to Barnard Elementary first to give his teacher an autographed copy. She said when he was growing up, he used to make pretend books, bind them together, and he's on his way to writing his second book now.
How great!
Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's shift our focus to Lake Michigan. You know, one of the most beautiful bodies of water in the world, and yet some people are treating it like a trash can, and in a very big way.
That's right. So in a year-end study of particulates in Lake Michigan, mostly plastics, we found that 11 million pounds of plastic are deposited into Lake Michigan every year. That's enough to fill 100 Olympic-sized pools. So this is an annual study. This is results from 2016. So if nothing else, this should be some inspiration for us to be a little more mindful in 2017, how we treat our bodies of water. Lake Michigan, unlike oceans, tends to have these plastics wash up on shore, and especially those little microbeads you find in cosmetics. They float on the surface of the water. Animals can eat them. It's just really wreaking havoc on our ecosystem.
Do you guys remember after Memorial Day in 2016, there was so much garbage on the beaches? We posted that video, I know, on our website. It was, got a lot of interaction. So if you've ever driven through Lakeview, you may have noticed a strange little shack just off Lakeshore Drive. What is that, Lizzie?
So one of our editors, Justin Breens, he drives down Lakeshore and he passes it every day, and he said he couldn't wait another day. He had to find out what the story was. So this little shack, it's at 3800 North Lakeshore Drive, just south of Irving Park Road, and today it is the home of the Sheridan Triangle Garden Community Center. But what its original purpose was, it helped run the CTA buses in the 1920s when it was first built. So someone would be stationed there and they would direct the buses, tell one when to start, when to go, when to stop. And then a few years later, these community members who live in that building wanted to spruce up this triangle garden, and they got the keys to the building, cleaned out all the CTA debris, and filled it with gardening supplies. So now volunteers from the neighborhood use that building to get their supplies to keep their garden beautiful.
The title bigger than the shack. Where can we find more stories like this?
DNAinfo.com, Chicago.
All right, thank you, Lizzie.